welcome to my living room. Yes. Happy Friday. Whoops, happy Friday. Welcome to dannIGeeLive, my last live of 2020. And I am going to start out this episode just giving thanks to everyone. Oh, merci beaucoup. Giving thanks to everyone who has been a part of this with me from day one. Everyone who has, allowed me to interview them in my space, in my living room. And, it's been incredible. So I am thankful to be here and with you all. Just want to give some shout outs and take a moment to just, take a moment to think about those we've lost this year to this awful pandemic, and people that are struggling with, fighting it, your family members, your friends, your coworkers. This has been a rough and challenging year. And so, trying not to get emotional, but, here we are. So I am thankful for being able to come to you every Friday and share human stories with my friends, my artist friends, colleagues, all of the above, who are trying to stay encouraged and do the work that they do. And I say it every week, I've been fortunate to continue doing the work that I do. And so we are here together, and there are 2 more Fridays, and next week I will have a very special show that I will announce at the end of the show today, but it's going to be great. And I also want to give thanks to my good friend in Philadelphia, Lee Jones, who actually was the one who created the initial flyer for me and the flyer design. And I just realized that yesterday was the 8th month anniversary to the day of when I started these. My first dannIGeeLive was April 17th with Monique Martin, my good sister friend and former SummerStage colleague. So she's been riding with me ever since, and she's an amazing human being, and please support the work that she does at New York City's Harlem Stage. They do great work there as well, and their digital work, they're going to be going forward with that as well. So what else can I say? Oh, I failed to mention all this time the work behind me. The one to my left in the white t-shirt, that was given to me by artist Noah G. Pop. I was performing with my band Sugar Bush at the Brooklyn Lyceum, which, I think closed years ago, sadly. It's a great performance venue. And the one on my right was created by Akil Ka. It was actually given to me. Camille Brown gave it to me as a present. She was honoring me along with the great Carmen de Lavalade a bunch of years ago for my work at SummerStage and in the dance field. So give thanks to those artists and, and their work. And so my guest today, I'm not sure if he is watching yet. I think he might be live on his own page. So if anybody on here knows my guest, Freedome Bradley, can you please go to his page and tell him to come to my page? So I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I could go out and come back in. I don't want to do that because I want to make sure I record all of this. So, so what else can I say? SummerStage has been going. We're still going. Today is actually my last day of work for the year. And I'm celebrating. I am super, super happy for that. And again, I know a lot of you have lost work, and people are really struggling right now. So I don't want to sound glib about that. But I am happy that I'm able to now take a break and, get my mind right so I can get back in that good fight for 2021 and continue to create opportunities and to create art and all of the above. So I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure how to find freedom if I have to go out and come back in. But again, if anybody that's watching right now is friends with Freedome Bradley on Instagram, please tell him to come to my page. I may have to go out and come back in and bring him back in. So let me just see if I can. These things happen. So I'm not sure. Hey, Kadi. How are you guys? Hey, God of Sound, my keyboard player from Sugar Bush. So I'm just waiting for my guest to join me. I believe he's live on his page. He, didn't follow the instructions. So I may have to go out and come back in, which would be terrible. But it happens because we're live. So I'm not sure how to do this. Let me see. Maybe I can send him. Let me try this. So if you guys can't see this, I'm hoping you guys don't see this, me doing this. All right, boom. Send. All right, let's see if that works. So I sent him my live as a message, and I hope he gets that. This is what happens. Okay, so also, so the theme of today's live is angels, and angels in the esoteric sense, but also like real time. Oh, Fernanda, my God, can you tell Freedom to come to my page, please? Hi, Fernanda. Obrigada. Please tell Freedom to come to my IG live because I think he's live on his page. So that's not how this works. Oh my God. Can you just let him know? I know he went live. He sent me a message. Of course, for my last live, this is what happens, but in any case, so the theme of today is angels. And so I have had angels come through my life that have guided me, that I didn't, looking back, I realized later on they were who they were in my life. So, from when I started dancing to singing to, hey, Freedome Bradley, all of the above. So I had Freedom on today because he is one of my angels, and I am going to bring him in right now so I can tell you why. Hold on, kids. Hold on. Oh, my goodness. Uh-oh. Send a request. Waiting for Freedom. Let's see what happens. So Freedom was working at SummerStage as the theater director. Is he coming? Yeah.
I think we're in.
Yes, we're in. What is?
All right, there we go.
Come on.
Gotta improvise. With new technology, we gotta improvise. We can't be stopped.
Oh my God, Freedome Bradley, of course. Oh my God. So I saw your message that you were going live on your page, and I'm like, can somebody tell him I'm over here?
I was trying to get over there. I was on there, and then I was like, okay, I've never gone live with anybody before. So I was like, I'm live. You said go live. I was like, okay, I'm live.
Okay, I'm live, and I sent you the instructions, but that's okay. It happens.
I read the instructions.
Love you, Freedom.
Go live. I was broadcasting live. Let me. I'm gonna turn my music.
First of all, hi, Freedom. I love you. You're freezing up a little bit, but we're gonna push through. So
okay.
Let me just explain why Freedome Bradley is my angel. So Freedome Bradley is my angel because I was just coming off a music tour. I had quit my day job to join this tour. And, I just went for it. It was my first time doing a music tour as a singer, obviously as a singer. And the job that I was working was telecharge, ticketing, and, it was all right, but it paid the bills, right? And so I got an opportunity to go on tour. And
it was honest work.
It was honest work. That's right. It was honest work. And so I remember going to my manager at the time and saying, I got an opportunity to do this I think it was a 2-month tour. And at the end of the tour, can I come back and re-up? And she basically was like, no, you have to, hey, Patricia. Yes, we're going to talk about you too, Miss Honey. You either have to stay, work at your desk, or quit. So Guess what option I took, right? Bye. Bye. So I took the tour and it was wonderful. It was with Kathy Sledge. I ended up meeting Gloria Gaynor and all these amazing people. Casey and the Sunshine Band and people that I'm still friendly with to this day. But when I came off the tour, I didn't have any work. So I started temping and I was, doing all kinds of odd jobs, background work. I was an American Gangster with Denzel. And I get this phone call from my beloved friend Freedom, who I've known since 1998. And his words were, "Hey, G, what you up to?" And I was like, "I'm looking for work." And Freedom says to me, they're looking for a dance programmer here at SummerStage. And I got nervous because I had never done any kind of presenting work ever. I'm just being honest. I had never done any arts presenting work. And Freedom said, "Girl, if I can do what I'm doing, I know you can do this." Am I lying, Freedom? Am I lying?
No. You are not lying.
And right. So
and what did I say I was going to do if you didn't? You remember what I said I was going to do if you didn't do the job?
No.
I said, I'm gonna call your mama. I'm gonna call your mama up and tell her.
See, that's a friend right there. He was gonna call my mama and tell her to tell me to take this job. So so Freedom is that angel for me because he had the faith that I didn't have in myself at that time that I could do the job.
You working? Yeah, but you working. I have to say this. You working. It's honest work. It's honorable work. You working at a ticket agency, but that's kind of like an old lady driving a Ferrari. Like they didn't know what to do with you, and it wasn't your higher calling. It wasn't what you were really good at. You taught me, everything I know about dance. And I knew that you could teach people across the city of New York about dance. If you could teach me about dance, who had no real language, no real understanding about it, no real appreciation for the form of it in its organized capacity, like on stage and seeing that. If you could teach me to do that, you could teach other people to do that had the same experience or similar experiences, that weren't doing, whatever the latest dance was at that time, people would do that, but to see, African dance, modern dance, Brazilian dance, tap, all the different dance forms that you experienced, that you brought to SummerStage, brought to people in New York City, it's a master class. And then to have classes that tagged before the beginning of performances with some really incredible dancers, what you did to that program, how you brought that program along, only you could have done that, because you had the connections, you had the knowledge, and you had the passion. You had all of those things that I knew that you had, even if you didn't know that you had those things at that point, because it was easy. It wasn't easy. It was not easy to convince you to do it. That's why I was gonna call your mama and tell her to make you do it.
Well, listen, Frida, if you can hear me, I want you to try to come out and go out and come back in, because you're breaking up, and I want to make sure people hear clearly what you have to say.
Okay.
So try going out and coming back in. Okay. Okay. See, guys, I'm trying to tell y'all, strap in. Freedome Bradley, he is a treasure, and again, you have to have these people. Oh, thank you, Patricia, for saying that. You have to have these people in your life that sometimes, have more faith in you than you do, and have the more belief in you than you do, to push you through and to take you to that next level. And it is about leveling up. So let me try to bring Freedome back in again. And he disappeared. Hold on, let me find him. Freedom. Okay. All right, waiting for Freedom. So, and that's what happened. And so he was right. And so I went in and I
Back.
interviewed. Oh, there you are.
All right, I'm back.
Okay.
Is that better?
Oh, that's so much better. Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Great.
good. So I was just saying how I came in for the interview with our dear Alexa Birdsong, and I could tell she wasn't sure about me at first, but she took a chance on me, and here I am 14 years later.
That's just how Alexa tried to play. She was, of course, interested in you. Because I set it all up. I was like, she's incredible. She's a former Ailey. She used to dance for Ailey. She danced with Philadelphia when she was 13 years old. You know.
Close the numbers, but that's okay. I mean, I was 16, but still.
Yeah, yeah. But but I mean, like that you had the experience, you had the resume. I could point, to those famous pictures of you in New York City subways. Those Alvin Ailey pictures, those posters with you on them, and say, yeah, she's all over the, it was an easy sell for me, man. I could shoot. I might need to be an agent or something, a manager for you, because I could sell you, man.
So just so you guys understand, you see his energy, right? So Freedom and I, our desks were next to each other in the office. And then, of course, with our amazing colleague, Monique Martin, that came along as well. Yeah. And we just, the three of us, it was incredible. So, but what I want to get back to first, before we get into the SummerStage years, I definitely want to talk about, young Freedom. Hi! Oh, my God. Yes, for the mask. Hey, man.
Yes. That's Orion.
Hi, Orion. It's good to see you.
He's coming in. He comes and bum rushes the set every now and then, make sure that I'm working.
Oh, we're going to talk about it all. So I hope you have at least a little over an hour, maybe 90 minutes, because there's so much I want to ask you about. Just even like young Freedom, growing up in Harlem, growing up in New York City, and, what that was like. I know, childhood, teenage years. Tell us about young, I mean, I know some, but tell us about young Freedom.
Oh my goodness. Well, young Freedom never thought that he would be working in the arts. That's for sure. I never thought that was going to be, my deal. It wasn't until I started working at the public theater, when I went to NYU. I was going to NYU, and a professor called me up, and God, man, my good friend, he wasn't one of his students, Greg Rhodes. Greg passed away a couple of months ago from COVID-related health issues. But if it wasn't for Greg Rhodes, I wouldn't have gotten into theater. If it wasn't a chance conversation that he called up a professor that knew that I was struggling with money and didn't have any money, I wouldn't have gotten into the arts. I just didn't think that, like a lot of Black people, not just Black people, but a lot of working class people, like the arts just isn't something that we think is a viable source of being able to take care of yourself. We want something that's a little bit more permanent, that like being a teacher, being a civil servant, being something that has a trade attached to it. That's something that's normally where we wind up saying, where our parents will support us,
right,
in doing some of that kind of work.
I'm so glad you brought up Greg, because I was, in doing my lead up to today, I was doing some little research on you, and I was watching an interview that you did, and you mentioned Greg and that he had passed away this summer. And again, the theme of this show is angels, and he is actually now a true angel, but he was that person that shifted your view of what was possible.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't just that. It was just going into the public theater and seeing that there was this, you go there. I was a greeter. Well, I didn't even know the term of it, a greeter. I was a lobby guy, they wouldn't even let me tear tickets You know, like that's how low I was. When I was like, yeah, like, can I go and tear some tickets? They're like, you can't tear those tickets.
Yeah.
No, go over there and greet people. Tell people where the Leicester Theater is. You know, so that's what I would do. I would greet people. And that was all because of George C. Wolfe. You know, George C. Wolfe was running the public theater at that time. And he wanted New York City, he wanted that theater to look like what New York City looked like when you were walking down the street.
Yes.
You know? So it was him that was pushing for those things, pushing for having, representation in the theater arts. So there were a whole bunch of us that were there at that point, that were coming into the theater. And I remember there was this older man there. I'm forgetting what Tommy's last name was, but Tommy used to have a cowboy hat. Some of you all might remember Tommy. He taught me a lot. He would do the rush tickets in the daytime, and he would always, I said, Tommy, how do you remember these things? He's like, because people would come in it, and he said, you know what? People come in all the time. They try to get tickets. They try to say that I said something else, and I said, no, I didn't. And you know why I know? Because I say the same thing over again, over and over and over. So I tell them the same thing. I'll tell you exactly what I said. I said it yesterday. I'm going to say it tomorrow. But he's the one that told me about George. And in my mind, it was still, like, I didn't expect George C. Wolfe to look like George C. Wolfe looked like.
What do you mean?
I thought that George C. Wolfe was a white man. Like, I wasn't a theater person. I didn't know anything about theater. I didn't know the Cottage Museum. I didn't know any of the work that he had done at that point. I was just like a dude that was coming in cold.
Right.
And I saw him walk, and they said he said, well, I'll point him out to you when he comes in. He said, he walks across all the time. And so he said, I said, yeah, next time he comes by, point him out. I'd like to thank him for, having a job there. Yeah. And he walked past, and he said, there he is right there. And I was like, that dude? Wow. I was like, that little black dude right there?
Right.
That's the dude that's running this place?
That's the black dude that's running this place.
And it instantly shifted my mind to being like, I could run an organization like this. You know? I could do something like this. So now I'm in there. I'm seeing that he's running it, but still, I still have that old mentality that, like working in theater, that cognitive dissonance that, I still didn't think that it was something that I could do that was for me. And I went on and I went teaching. I went overseas. I taught in Peace Corps. I was in Ethiopia, and all of my classes became little plays. Pretty much plays that were based on what I was going through. My wife was telling me the other day, she was saying, if you have 100 words of any language, you can pretty much get along in that country.
Yes.
And I didn't know that it was that, that it was that scientific on that number. But I had about 100, 200 words,
Well, it's so interesting because when I, went to the performing arts school in Philly, I've told this story before, it was a very small school, but out of those 100 kids, there were maybe like 5 black kids. And, everybody else was white. And that was my entry point to dance, formal dance training. And I had my angel, which was Carla Washington, and she saw something in my little flat-footed self. And, she groomed me and worked on my little turnout, my legs. But it wasn't until I went to Philadelphia and saw, I had seen The Wiz when I was young. And I knew there was something that piqued my interest and all of that. But it wasn't until I went to audition at Philadelphia and saw all of these magnificent Black people and just every shade, every shape, just so elegant. And then, of course, seeing Miss Jo Myers-Brown walk into that room at the audition in them heels and them shades and just not taking any mess, that I was like, yeah, this is it. I am home.
Yeah.
I'm home. Yeah. So I understand that, like, seeing someone that looks like you, to encourage you to say, yeah, I can do this. I can do this.
It was seeing him. It was seeing Jennifer Lewis there. She was doing her one-woman show there, The Diva is Dismissed, and seeing her and how she approached her craft and how she, like at the end of her show, how she would sit out there and have all these Black people that had come to theater and hold court, or seeing, Christopher Walken, who was doing his show there. He was doing a show there too. And, you know, like, he's smoking, you know, like, this was the aroma that was coming from the green room was righteous. And I was like, yo, that's how this thing works over here.
So
and,
is this, but you also, obviously, I mean, you also went into acting yourself. So was this at that point that you decided
Yeah. You know, like, I was really open. I was like, well, if they, you know, like seeing Danny Hawk doing his one-man show and representing, you know, like people from different aspects of New York, I was like, well, I could do that. You know, like, I like to talk. I like to yap. You know, like, I ain't afraid of people. You know, like, I could do this. You know, and I did it, and I acted. You know, like, and I was part of different companies that, you know, like my good friend Charles Drew, who passed away a couple of years ago. He had a company called Absolute Theater. He really inspired me to create my own theater company. And by creating my own you know, like, being a part of his theater company, you know, like, I saw life as I wanted to live it, you know, like, in a world that looked like my friends, you know, that were gay people, there were straight people, there were young people, there were old people, there were immigrants, there were, you know, people that were from New York, there were people from other parts of the country. So it's like this whole grouping of people that I felt really at home with, you know, and Charles was really great with, you know, like, providing an opportunity for people. So two people that are my, you know, like, that I look at as my heroes, my inspiration in this work are George Wolfe, you know, like, and Charles Drew, because they had this vision of bringing more people into the world that they inhabited, and that world was a good place to be.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And just give a little backstory. And our Monique is watching this. Hey, Entrified, and people are in there sent up from Puppet House.
Entrified.
Okay, I love this.
Momo.
So, as most of you know, or not, I had to stop dancing with Alvin Ailey in '97. I got injured, and I, you know, took some time off. I moved back to Philly. I was still in Philly, actually, and I moved back to New York in '98. I was seeing someone at the time, you know, the writer, we won't say his name, but whatever. And he introduced me, I'm on the street one day, to our good friend, Greg Tate. And, you know, being a dancer, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you're in this silo of the dance world, and that's what that is, right? Especially a company like Alvin Ailey. And we're on the road, and we come home, we do our thing, we're back on the road. Very, like, sort of in the silo. But I come back to New York, I meet Greg Tate. Greg Tate asks me to join his band, Medusa Oblongata.
The forerunner of Burnt Sugar.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it's just burnt sugar.
It's just burnt sugar, right?
You know, like.
Right. So I go to his apartment to, like, audition some songs with him. End up meeting Sharif Simmons, and then I'm introduced, just like you said, the world that you want to be in. I'm introduced to this whole brand new world of beautiful people, funky, exotic, erotic, artistic, and, you know, I go to a party, I then meet Jessica Care Moore, go to her house, and there's Freedome. I think you had just come back from Ethiopia, I'm not sure, but you were on the fire escape. I'll never forget this, and you had on a white turban. And you were going over some lines. I think you were, like, practicing your lines, rehearsing yourself, and you come out from the fire escape and you step into the room. First of all, guys, Freedome is like 7 feet tall. And I was just like, what? Who is that? What is happening? And now I'm in this world of, like, this motley crew of amazing individuals. And I loved it. It was like, this is exactly what I needed post Ailey. Imani Uzori, you know, like Lisa Jesse Peterson. I mean, since '98, which is 20 years, 20 plus years.
Saul Williams, you know, like all of us with, you know.
Mikkel Banks.
Yeah.
All of us. So.
Tara Turk.
What else?
You know, like Tarika writing, you know, like, God, there were so many of us, you know. Ola.
Moa,
you know, Maximina Justin.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. Monique is like, not the white turban, white turban. Okay. And 7 feet tall. Okay. 6'4", 5". But with that white turban on, and you had some kind of like dashiki on. It was all elegant. And so.
I wish I still had it.
So now you're acting. Are you still at the public while you're acting, or did you move on from the public at that point?
No, I was at the public. I worked at the public. You know, I really wanted to learn uh, all that I could about theater. You know, I wanted to learn about, you know, how theater was made. So any job that I could do at the theater, at the public, I would do. You know, like I worked in security. I worked as a carpenter. I worked as, you know, in lighting. I worked in sound, and then I worked in theaters throughout New York doing that. And then I worked in theaters as an actor. But once I then realized that I wanted to get some more training, and I went to grad school for acting and for theater, and I wanted to go to a school that was close to New York, but I wanted to go to a school that was only 2 years, so I decided to go to Sarah Lawrence, which was, you know, like a 30-minute
I remember
train
that.
ride. Yeah, and I really, you know, like there I learned some things about how to you know, basically run my own theater company, you know, how to direct better, how to act better, you know, some different acting styles, some different tools. And I came back out, you know, and of course I was still a member of Absolute Theater with Charles Drew. But Charles was moving to Los Angeles, and he moved to LA, and we started along with Frank Dunham, and Jason Trevitz. We started a theater company in New York City. You know,
What was it called?
Creative Stages.
Right.
Creative Stages is still running. You know,
yes.
Like Frank Dunham is still running Creative Stages. If you know, once you all get together and can come out on in live person, you know, go support him. He's an amazing writer. So you know, we started our own theater company, and that lasted for a few years. You know, and I was still acting. I was going on tour at that point. You know, I was performing at other regional theaters, and then I came back and I started, you know, like, you know, Alexa asked me to come in. That Time Warner, they had just secured a grant from Time Warner.
Now take me back. How did you meet Alexa?
I met Alexa at SummerStage.
Oh, so you were just going there, hanging out?
I was just going to SummerStage. You know, like I was just hanging out at SummerStage. You know, like most other people. You know, like, so I was there seeing. I had more fun there when I didn't work there. Yeah, when I worked there, man. Oh my god.
So you met her through like the artists, or?
Well, I met her through Imani Wilson. Imani Wilson knew her, and also, you know, because I had known people that were there. You know, like I'd been going to SummerStage since Bill Bragan was there.
Yeah,
you know, Bill Bragan was there. I was there. I was going there, but I met her there, and I had friends that had performed there before her. But I met Alexa being there through Imani Wilson, who met her in New Orleans, who of course met her because of Greg Tate, because everything goes back through Greg Tate.
Right. So everything comes, all roads lead to Greg Tate.
All roads lead back to Greg Tate. You know, like he is, if you know, like if you ever want to do anything in the arts, and you can, and if you're lucky enough to know him, and if he's lucky enough to talk to you, even if you know him,
right?
You know, he knows. He just knows
everything.
He knows you, and then he knows the people that you would be good around.
Yeah.
So he's a great connector like that.
He is.
Greg Tate, you know, just I mean, he connected me to my wife. You know, like Greg Tate. You know, like that's how I met her.
Yeah.
You know, he really is supportive of artists, and of artists before they even know that they can do something, you know, like you.
Well,
G,
that's
you know,
true
like
because I'll tell you, when I joined Medusa, I hadn't really been singing that much except for just out of
no,
high school or whatever, and I was
yeah,
starting to sing with Kathy. And I remember the when we auditioned, he auditioned me. He was like, all right, we'll work on some things, you know." And then I went to the first rehearsal. I'll never forget. Imani Uzuri, love her to pieces. She was like, "Oh, he just hired you because you were cute."
oh my God.
Okay, we'll take that. It's okay.
You
But
got
he
hired.
worked on me, and he brought
Yeah.
out the things that he just really hyped me up and was like, "You got this." Working that alto range,
What up, hype?
yeah, and it was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And it was because of Medusa that I was able to start my own band and meet all of those
Yeah.
musicians and then carry
Yeah.
on. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So I met her there, you know, and then we became friends. You
yeah,
know, like Alexa and I became really great friends.
yeah.
And like I said, she had found this. They had gotten this money to start a theater program, and she
Mm-hmm.
had seen that I had already been producing, you
Mm.
know, theater around New York. So she asked me if I could come in and run this program for her. And I thought that it would be like a 6-month gig, you know. And then 9 years later, I'm like, you know, like I'm there
Yeah.
and I'm still doing this work, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I actually have, you know, at that point, you know, the producing of it was so, I found that to be so enamoring, you know, like to be an
Mm.
artistic producer of the work, you know,
Yeah.
to still have an artistic sensibility
Yeah.
going into the theater work that we were
Yeah.
doing,
Now
you know,
remind me
like
though, tell me this, and reading through your work and your bio, that was at the beginning, because that was what, 2005, 4?
yeah, 2000, 2004, 2005, 2005, yes.
So that was
2006,
also right
yes,
when
2005.
Citywide was getting going.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
talk about Citywide and being at the genesis of that.
Well, Citywide was, you know, like it was a whole bunch of different programs that were going around. You know, like there was a theater program, there was a music program, of course, you know, concert series and a dance series, but it wasn't, you know, like it didn't have it didn't coalesce. It was like these desperate programs that
Right.
had no overlap, that
Mm.
went to different parks, that had different no real cohesive marketing of them
Mm.
all together, you know, like and it was dependent upon, you know, wanger wagons,
Oof.
which were these old little stages that used to go out, or uh, amphitheaters. So, you know, I remember sitting in Tompkins Square Park
Mm-hmm.
with David Ravel,
Mm.
who's the former leader of City Parks Foundation, and he was asking me, you know, like, hey, what do you think? What do you think the next step of SummerStage? He's like, if you, because I was planning on leaving at one point.
Mm.
I was leaving SummerStage. I was definitely leaving, and this is like maybe 2 or 3 years into it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 2 years into it. I was gonna leave.
Why were you leave?
Right when Monique Martin, who's over here watching, I was leaving right when she got hired.
Why
And
why if
I
I could
really,
ask, why
well,
were you going to leave at that point?
I was struggling with some things, you know, like I was struggling with wanting to be, you know, like an artist,
Right.
you know, like, and really, you know, like wanting to be an artist in the traditional sense of
Sure.
performing,
Mm-hmm.
wanting to be a performer, not to be an
Mm-hmm.
artist.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be a performer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was deciding, you know, like, hey, this isn't really for me. And then one day I was sitting down and I was talking to David about, and he said he knew that I was leaving, and he had said that, you know, like, well, what would you do if you could do it? You know?
Mm.
And I said, look, this is what we should be doing. If we're going to do this thing, one, we need to put everything, you know, underneath one banner. to, like
Mm.
it all needs to be SummerStage. It can't be this concerts, it can't be this dance, it can't be this theater. It all has to be the same thing.
So that
And
was your idea, Free?
it
Ooh.
was with I remember pitching it to him as that, and that we needed to have, because we had never had those SL stages,
Right.
like those stage line, those big mobile stages that transform that SummerStage had. We didn't have those. I was the first one to get one of those stages in a park.
Yes.
And I said, we got to get one of these. We got to get this.
Yeah.
And this is going to be the key for us to go around. Then we can go to different boroughs. I mean, we can go to different parks. We're not dependent on these things, and we can stay for longer periods of time.
Yes, come on, visionary.
Well,
thank you, Freedom, for that.
Yeah, so that was, it was funny, like when I was leaving SummerStage, David was the one that reminded me of that conversation. He reminded me of that conversation, and because I was leaving, there was a point when, at SummerStage things were, I had been there for 9 years. I was done, like I was just done. I was tired. I needed some new opportunities. But really seeing, we had another, we went through like a couple of artistic directors really fast,
Yeah.
and the one that was there really fast, like he just didn't have the same appreciation for what we were doing, for what we were trying to do. He was, and when he, and I was like, you know what? Every person, every leader that comes in got the right to have their vision and hire their own team. So I remember when I left, and then I told David, and we went out to lunch, and I told him that I left, that I was leaving. And he said, well, of course you're leaving, Freedom. They're dismantling all of your programs. They're dismantling the things that, that you care about.
Right.
And I was, and then he said, remember, I was there when you talked about,
yeah,
SummerStage and putting together this stage and doing all that stuff and making the program more cohesive. And I was like,
I mean, you were doing some original work. I mean, we talk about Ms. Rada Blank, one of your dearest friends, and now just out here just killing it. 40-year-old version.
Yeah, her 40-year-old version.
Can you talk about some of the works that you did that you're really proud of? There was the Trinity play.
Yeah, we did plays. I mean, like, I think that some of the work that we did at that point, that I was commissioning or producing was were things that I was really interested in. Like I was interested in. I think that like we look at classical work and we look at Shakespeare as he enjoys his place, but there are other he's reporting stories about people that existed in history, and Africa has some incredibly rich history, especially living in Ethiopia, knowing some of the stories that they're, knowing some of the leaders, knowing about historical figures of African African antiquity. You knew that there were stories that were available. So to be able to put together like stories about Haile Selassie, or to be able to put it together, not just those things that are from the canon, from the traditional canon, but being interested in trying to create a new canon, being able to produce plays, that hadn't been produced in 30, 40 years. Like we did Amiri Baraka's The Toilet. That play was banned in New York.
I cannot remember the name of that show.
Yeah. I mean, because it never gets produced. Like it was banned in the 60s, and nobody had done a production of it until we did a production of it with Woody King and New Federal Theater. And doing that partnership. And doing partnerships with Classical Theater of Harlem, doing partnerships with original work with Hip Hop Theater Festival with Camilla Forbes, who's over at the Apollo now. Like really just trying to do great work, like working with J. Kyle Manze, like he was one of his first plays that he did in New York, like we have produced it out in the park. So it was a great opportunity to give people, Chisa Hutchinson,
Oh, Chisa, right.
who's doing incredible work throughout the country.
Yeah.
Like gives a lot of people an opportunity to share their work with the people that they want to share their work with.
Exactly.
Because that's, like what we're able to do with our dance program and with our theater program was really allow folks in the from the communities to perform in front of people that they knew,
right?
And not just taking it into one of the mega off-Broadway houses or one of the regional theaters, or going like you're able to bring Alvin Ailey out to people in New York City that they're able to see it. They're able to dance in front of rooms filled with Black people.
Yes. That to me to this day is still one of my crowning achievements at being at SummerStage, being able to bring Alvin Ailey back for 2 shows. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I felt like you and I had similar challenges, whether it be marketing or people's perception of what theater and dance is. And it comes off to a lot of people, hey, Roz, that they right? They don't think theater or dance is for them. It's like this elitist thing over there that I'm not going to understand. And I still struggle with that, where taking it into the community is saying, no, it's for everybody. Please, here is this free program that I want you to enjoy. And you said something about having work that's excellent but also relatable. Right? And so that it just knocks away the financial barrier, but it also knocks away that sort of wall that people put up because they don't think it's for them.
Yes. It's like I think that excellence, and I've been having these conversations about how subjective it is, like and trying to make more representation for communities to be involved in the creation of the art,
right?
And that means to me supplying them the tools to make something that they find to be excellent, because you can have 2 different people, you can have the same person experience 2 different things, 2 people going in and saying the same show, and one person feels like it's excellent and the other person feels like it wasn't.
Just garbage.
It was garbage. And it doesn't matter if you pay, like $1,000 for that show. People can have the same experience, and come in and have different experiences. Like I'll give, like I always say, like for some people going to see a play at Lincoln Center is excellent. And they'll go in and see a play at a community center and be like, right, didn't have all the the acting, or they'll make things that they talk about that they didn't like about it. And then you'll take somebody from that same community center and you'll take them and they'll see that play and they'll be like, man, that was great. That was awesome. I loved, my aunt was in that. It was something else, man. I really loved it. Thank you for doing that. And then you'll go and take them out to Lincoln Center, and that same person be like, man, that was some, I don't know, man. That wasn't, don't take me to that anymore. Don't take me back to that, man. I'd rather do my thing. Yes. So it's really subjective, man. One person's excellent is not more valuable than another person's excellent. Yeah. Your excellence doesn't trump my excellence.
Absolutely. One of the things, I've said this before, this summer that I really miss, besides obviously working with everyone, is just really being in the neighborhoods and being out in those parks with the babies, the kids, and you oversaw a lot of the kids programming, right? After Patrick passed on.
Yeah.
You inherited that program and the work with the Cottage Theater, the Swedish Marionette Cottage Theater.
Yeah. You know, like I still, you know, like people still know I had the quickest door closing in the history of SummerStage, man, doing that kids program. Having it was Yo Gabba Gabba. Yo Gabba Gabba
Wait, I
closed
think
the
I have a
doors,
picture of you with Yo Gabba Gabba. Wait, let me see if I can find it. Wait. Where is it? Oh my
Yo
God, please let
Gabba
me find
Gabba,
it.
man, we closed the doors.
Close the door, gate
Closed the doors
closer.
real quick. Those people came in there. And those security guards, they didn't know what to do, man. Oh yeah, there I go. Me and Broby. That's right.
That was amazing. I remember that.
Incredible. It was incredible. That was like an amazing day. You know, like the doors closed in 15. It was like 13 minutes.
Wow.
13 minutes. Wesley told me.
Was that for Global? That was Global Family Day when that started.
Global
right?
Family Day. Yeah, we had Global Family Day.
Now tell me about this too. You with John Leguizamo. That was a huge achievement too.
Oh yeah. God, man, having John Leguizamo there. I forgot all about that. God, yeah. God, man, I had John Leguizamo do a show there.
You had John Leguizamo.
I forgot about that.
That was amazing, Freedom.
I forgot all about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, we had John Leguizamo do a show for us in Central Park. You know, I think that last year, man, we were really pulling out all the stops.
Pulling out all the stops, rocking and rolling. I mean, that was huge. I mean, that place was packed. And hey, Michi, the crew was here. Michi. And then I guess this was one of your last days.
Oh yeah.
And you got the park sign, Rose of Freedom.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I know.
Look, I still have my sign here.
You do. Let me see.
You can't see it. I still have it. It's sitting right here next to me.
That is so awesome. You are so missed, but I'm trying to find.
I miss being there. You know.
Do you? So this was our crew.
It's not really any of the organizations. You know, like you don't miss the organizations. You miss the people.
Yeah.
You know, like you miss the people.
That's shot. You know, this is you on stage hosting one of the shows.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Just so many amazing memories. Oh, quickly, I want to pull this up.
That's all these gray hairs. All these gray hairs are there's SummerStage gray hairs, man.
Okay. But this was like right when I first met you and the crew. That's Simmons, Mikkel, you.
Yeah, Greg's over there behind your face.
Greg's behind my face. Oh my goodness. And oh wait, here's a good one. There you are. There's Greg Tate and you.
Yes. Is that who's that in the gold? Is that my wife?
Let me see. That's Mikkel.
Oh, that's Mikkel. Okay, yeah.
Yes. We had so many. This is the whole team of us. And Howard's in there. Our amazing Howard, Theus.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we miss Howard. But so
I mean, what a great looking crew of people.
We were a great looking crew. We were fun. We still are. Okay.
Yeah. This was great. You know, like I mean, like all the stuff that we've done. You know, there.
So many amazing shows. So there was only like a small gap between you leaving SummerStage and then joining the Old Globe where you are now, right?
Yes. It was a year. It was a year to the day. I left City Parks Foundation October 15th, 2014. And I joined the Old Globe October 15th, 2015.
So did you know that a job was available? Did they headhunt you? How did that happen?
It was crazy, man. It was crazy. Like, you know, like So the job at the Old Globe, I actually left when we left New York. We moved to Maui. So we were living in Hawaii. I just wanted to get away. You know, we were living in Maui. We wanted to be there. Let me just
stop you right there really quickly, though. So people, if you're just joining us, I'm talking with my dear friend, Freedome Bradley-Ballentine, who I was my former colleague at SummerStage, but I've known Freedome since way before SummerStage. And when he's saying we, he is talking about he and his beautiful wife, This is from your wedding day. You and Mikkel. I went
Yeah.
digging, baby. I went digging.
Yeah, God.
But wait a minute. Oh, I
That's
don't
one of
think
my
I see
favorite
this
pictures.
picture. But this was, I think, when you guys first started, sort of around when you first started dating.
Yeah.
And this was the New Year's Eve party at my house.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that party.
That party. My kitchen is not that big, and everybody was in the kitchen.
Everybody was in the kitchen.
People just kept showing up, and it was the party of all New Year's Eve's party up here in Washington
Great New
Heights.
Year's Eve party.
We were loud as hell because we could be.
Yep.
And just carried on. And so this is your beautiful wife, you and Patricia McGregor. Yes. How did you guys meet? Oh, you said through Greg Tate. Tell us the romance.
So Greg Tate introduced us because I was doing a play. He was, Greg, he's a genius. Mm-hmm. And sometimes his, the genius that he is, it can be a little, he is avant-garde. It can't have a little, oh, wow, that is a great picture.
Yeah.
Our wedding day. Oh, my
God. It was a great day. Yeah. It was a great day.
Yeah. He like Sun Ra, the improvisation of what he does in his music work, I know that, but with theater, it has to have a little bit more of a form, with it. Mm-hmm. Unless you're going to be at, PS 122, which is great. Mm-hmm. And you do a play that has no form. And I love plays that have no form. Mm-hmm. But, somewhat in some of the communities that I knew we were going into, they needed a little bit more form because the idea of theater itself could be so foreign. Mm-hmm. And he was doing this James Brown musical that actually started out at the Apollo. Mm-hmm. And I heard about it, but I couldn't go and see it at the time. And he was telling me about it and saying that, and I was like, I'd really like to do that with you. And I was like, but who's working? Who's working on the form with you of it? And he had said, well, I'm working with this sister, Patricia McGregor. She's out of this sister out of Yale. Her name is Patricia McGregor, man. She's dope. Now you know Patricia, right? And I was like, no, I don't know. I had never known. I didn't meet her. And then we started. So then we went and I talked to her, and she was, she was brilliant. She just what she. She was inspirational.
Yes.
And how she talked about theater and what she knew about theater and how she knew about, using theater as a tool to change, using theater as a way to inspire communities. Like stuff, we had a very similar language that we spoke, that we knew. So then we had these conversations, and then we met, and I was like, wow, she's an incredible woman, and we still, she, at that point, I had a lot of stuff going on in my life, and she had a lot of stuff going on in her life, and we weren't able, we worked together on the project, and I was like, wow, that was really great. And then, some time went past, nearly a year, I think it was a year passed by, nearly a year passed by, and my life had changed, and it slowed down a lot. And I called her up and I said, hey, would you like to go out? Hey, my life's changed a little bit. Would you like to go out? And she said, yeah. And we went out, and we liked each other.
I don't think I realized that's how you guys met, was on that project. Was on the James Brown project.
That's how we met.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so then it was about a year after that, we had we were engaged.
Oh my God.
About a year after that, we were engaged.
I don't know if you saw it, but I posted the video that Monique took of you coming down the aisle.
Yeah.
Dancing down the aisle. That was such a joyous day. That was Storm King, right?
Yeah.
Is that what we were?
No. It wasn't Storm King. No, it wasn't Storm King. It was, oh God. Blah 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 blah.
It was up in the Hudson Valley somewhere.
Yeah, it was in oh God, in Hudson, New York. It was I'm blocking the name of it.
It's okay. It was such a beautiful day. I was so happy for you, and I think we all were, because you're such a great person, and you love women, and I don't mean that in any kind of lascivious way.
Yeah.
When I was looking through your photos and just looking at all your friendships and the joy, and you're just such a caretaker, and you're such a brother and a man, and you just love women and the nurturing, I'm going to care for you sense, and we are all the better for it. We are all the better.
It's in a you know, like it's in a brother sister way, you know, like that I feel, because I always want, you know, like I always want sisters, you know, like God, there go two of my
the two Imanis.
The two Imanis, you know, like they just, you know, like, look, you know, Black women have always been there to support me, to hold me up, and whenever I'm having, you know, women of color have always been there to hold me, and I feel the same way, you know, like a lot of times, you know, you all don't have the support around you, you know, and sometimes guys don't know how to give that support, but I do. So because I know how to do, and I have the capacity to do so, you know, I do it. You know, there's Jess and
Jessica Caremore, her son. Oh, but she's smaller. Oh, you can't really see it, but there's you and Jessica Caremore.
Yeah, you know, like those are my, you know, like they've been there for me through thick and thin, and I'm there for them. You know, like these are relationships that I've had for 25 years.
Absolutely.
You know?
And I know we talked briefly. I asked you earlier if it was okay to show your children. I'm going to show it really quickly because they're so beautiful. Yeah. They're your babies. I can't.
There they go.
Those faces. Okay.
I just love them. You know, like
I mean, you're such. I mean, just from your pictures alone, I'm like, Freedome's a great dad. I can just see it all through the love and the photos. I haven't met your daughter yet, but I've certainly met your son.
No, she is. Oh my God.
Is she a piece of work?
Dancer. She is a dancer, and she's a singer, and she's just a little ball of light that just you know, bounces around our house and makes us all, you know, makes us all better for her being around.
I love it.
You know.
Yeah. Do you miss, I mean, I want to get back to San Diego now, because I definitely want to talk about the work that you're doing and things that are going on right now in the world. I just didn't want to make this too heavy because, you know, we have so much heaviness. But do you miss New York?
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, I miss New York. I miss my friends, you know. I miss my friends. I miss my family. Yeah. I miss that, you know. I miss the summer of it, you know, like I miss the summer stage of it, you know, like the free art of it. I miss those public spaces that we could be in together. That's what I miss, you know. I'll miss the city every now and then, you know, like you watch a show and New York is the backdrop of it, and you're like, oh man, I know that place, you know, like but it's like you miss the memories that you have of that thing, you know, like that's what. Nothing like New York style.
It's so true.
You know, and they're the best. You know, like, that's what I miss. I miss, you know, like those. You know, I wish, and for some of me, I wish that I would have, you know, that my sisters, you know, like you would get to know the kids, you know, like that's what I miss, you know, like Josie, you know, like I miss that, you know, like I miss Erica, you know, like I miss the team of people that were there that would get to know, you know, my kids, you know, like Rachel Black, you know, like I saw her face in that picture, you know, I miss Rachel, you know, like Monique, like just all those people. That's what I miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we miss you too, but I'm so proud of the work that you're doing. So now you're in San Diego. You said basically a year went by and so tell us again, you got the notification, or how did you find out about the Old Globe job?
Oh man, that job, because I was looking for, like what was the next thing going to be, like, because we were in Maui, but I knew that I'm not independently wealthy, and you start looking for what that next opportunity is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I had seen that position, at the Globe, and I was like, I don't know if that's what I want to do,
Mm-hmm.
and then my wife had mentioned, she's like, hey, I see this job, you would be great at that. And I was like, and then another person said to me, I think it was her sister, like, hey, Freedom, you would be great at that job. I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't know, and then we had to go back to New York.
Mm-hmm.
Patricia was working on a project at that point, and she was working on it up at New York Stage and Film.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran into Barry Edelstein, who's my artistic director at the Globe.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran into him, and he's like, hey, what are you doing here? And I was like, I hadn't seen him in years because I'd known him when he was at the Public.
Oh, wow. Oh,
I'd known Barry when, like I had taken Barry and Oscar Eustace, who's the artistic director of the Public, when they were thinking about starting to do a mobile unit again. I met with them and took them all around New York City. And I got them in, I think 7310. We got in 7310.
Oh, the van. Oh. That old green van. Oh, Jesus.
We got into one of them.
Right.
And I don't think it was 7310. I think it was, the 7310 was the white one. It was the white.
Okay.
We were in the white one. And I took them around to different parks and such. So we had a relationship, and I had helped them do some things as at SummerStage.
Mm-hmm.
So when I ran into him, he had been at the Globe for like 2 years or so, and he was starting this program, and he hadn't known, like, because social media, we're not on social media like like that, or like so I was like, yeah, my wife's here, she's doing that, and he's like, oh, you're married and you got married? He's like, how's things going at the parks? I was like, I haven't been there. I was like, I left a year ago. He's like, huh? I said, what are you doing? I said, I'm living in Maui. He said, huh? Living in Maui?
Which is not so shabby.
Yeah, he's like, Barry, he's like, I ain't living in Maui. What are you living in Maui for?
Yeah.
What are you doing there? I was like, surfing?
Right.
And
chilling.
I'll never forget his look at me. He looked at me and said, huh?
Yeah.
I got a job and you would be perfect for it.
Wow.
So like the fourth time that this job has come to me.
Right. Dude.
And it's like the dude that's posting the job is now telling me, like, dude, do this job. And I was like, oh man, well, like my dad used to have this saying, like, don't fight the universe.
Right.
Like,
say it again.
You don't fight the universe.
Yes.
And if the universe is making these,
overtures,
making this ways for you,
yes,
like you owe it to your ancestors to at least investigate it and look at it and see what's happening.
Yes.
So I went, so then I looked into the job, and I wrote.
Now, what was the job title? There was arts engagement.
Yeah, director of arts engagement.
And tell us what that was, or
Well, it was basically doing what I was doing in New York.
Right.
Like to a certain degree.
Yeah.
It was going deeper though. Like it was really going in deeper into the community, into making real long-lasting relationships with community.
Yeah.
And so I came out here. I told him that I was interested. And I came on out here, and I saw what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
We have really, really deep conversations about what my position would be, what I would be doing, what it would, you know, like what I would be responsible for. And he just had a vision of making he had a vision of what he wanted the globe to be, and how he wanted the globe to matter to more people, and that this wasn't going to be, you know, just, you know, like, it wasn't going to be something that was going to go away in 3 years. You know, it wasn't. He was like, this. We're going to. He wanted to transform the organization. You know, he wanted to make sure that the organization had a real connection with San Diego.
Yes.
And I knew Barry, you know, and I knew Barry to be, you know, an honorable man, and a man of, you know, of his word.
Yeah.
You know, like, he wasn't some mealy mouth, you know, like, I'm doing this now because it's hot, you know, like, and then when the thing goes, and then when you get the funding, you know, when the funding goes, the program goes.
No,
you know, like,
no.
it was going to be central to what the organization was. And then he shared with me this grant, this writing of this grant. And it was the greatest grant writing. It was the greatest grant that I'd ever seen. You know, like, the writing of it. It just really laid out how, you know, like, what he wanted to do. And I was like, you can't make this shit up.
Yeah.
You know, like, you can't fake this.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's either it's gonna be in you or it's not. And I knew that it was gonna be in him. You know, and I knew that what he said on Monday wasn't gonna change on Friday. You know, that he was that he you know, that he had integrity.
Ooh, that.
And for me, if you can find somebody in this art field that has integrity,
Woo.
you hold on to them, man.
Say it
you hold on to
Say
them.
it again.
Because not everybody has integrity. Most
they
people
sure
don't
do not.
have integrity. Most people don't have integrity.
They really don't. I just want to read something he said about you, because now you guys got promoted to a new position in July. My little light just went out, but it's all good. But he said about you that Freedom is a special man, a gifted leader, a profound thinker, and a warm and generous presence. And all of that is super true. And we all know that to be true. So congratulations on your promotion, because now you are, tell us your full title now.
Well, I'm still, you know, I'm the associate artistic director and still the director of arts engagement. Because for me, arts engagement is the center of me. You know, like, it is the center of what I do. You know, like, it is being with community. You know, like, it is, you know, not, you know, whenever I'm going into any of these conversations, you know, that I have with, whether it be in our institution or whether it be with organizations throughout the country, like, how is the community benefiting from this? How are people benefiting from this? You know, like, when we were at SummerStage, we knew how people were benefiting from the programs that we were doing. You know, like it can't just be that you're doing a program and they're not getting anything from it.
Right.
You know? Like, they have to get something from it. So as an associate artistic director at the Globe, you know, I am really responsible for, one of the things that I'm responsible when we get back, you know, is really mainlining the work that we're doing in communities inside the organization itself. So how are we taking some of the things that we're doing and that we're creating in communities and bringing that into the Globe,
and you
know,
also
onto our campus?
As I was doing my poking around, you're doing work in prisons as well. You're taking theater into prisons.
Yes.
So I saw some of the things that were quoted, and one of the inmates basically was like, I had never seen a play before, and it opened up a whole new world for me. Like, I just thought that was so beautiful.
Many, I mean, like, the people that are experiencing incarceration are you know, our classmates. They are our, you know, they're our brothers, they're our sisters. They are our fathers, they're our mothers, they're our grandparents. You know, they are members of our community. You know, that have been disproportionately affected by this criminal justice system
Mm-hmm.
for mistakes that they've made. Some
Mm-hmm.
of them heinous mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
some of them minor mistakes, but
Mm-hmm.
mistakes nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you have people that have made mistakes that are eventually going to be getting out
Mm-hmm.
of the situation that they're
Mm-hmm.
in. And do we want them to come out with less skills than they had going in? Or do we want to give them different skills? Do we want
Right.
to give them different coping mechanisms? You know, do we want to give them a way to talk about what they've experienced in their lives
Mm-hmm.
that's safe for them to do it, that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make them relive the trauma of their life, but
Mm-hmm.
gives them a space where they can talk about similarities that they've seen in a Shakespearean story with similarities that they've experienced in their
Yes.
own life, you know? And by utilizing Shakespeare as a tool to do that, it creates a separation for them, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because they're talking about something that happened 400 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also talking about something that they have to really kind of uncover because the language is different than contemporary language. And one of the side benefits of that is that Shakespeare has, you know, is taught in high schools, you know, and in middle schools and in grammar schools. And for some people, you know, that are inside, you know, like they didn't have a good relationship with Shakespeare at that point, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and they were
Yeah.
told that it may not have been for them, or they were
Right.
told that, you know, that they didn't understand it, that there was something wrong with them on their side.
Mm-hmm.
But when they get but when they're in this room and they're dealing with these words and they're dealing with these stories, they're dealing with them because Shakespeare was talking about the human condition and the human experience. And they're
Mm-hmm.
seeing that they're going through the same thing that some of these characters were going through. You know,
Absolutely.
they're experiencing some of these things that these characters were going through, and they have insights into how things that these characters are feeling. Why does Romeo feel the way that he feels when he's talking about being banished? You know,
Right.
when I experienced that story, I experienced it as some whiny ass rich kid. You know, when those men experience the story, they experience as men that have been locked away from society in the middle of a desert and not seeing their families.
Right. Right.
They're experiencing it totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And they're bringing insights into it of why he feels the way that he feels based on their condition that they're
Right.
in.
Right.
You know, and that's something that you can't get from any master class.
Thank you.
In your college. Yale can't teach you that.
That's right.
NYU can't. Columbia, nobody can teach you that.
No one can teach you that.
Nobody can teach you that. You know, that is a lived experience that these men are experiencing. So it weighs with them differently.
Yeah, but also too, Freedom, just like, you know, we have these conversations all the time. I mean, I'm in a group now, Black dance curators. And as an arts presenter in still a very extremely white world, you know, there was the thing that started after the George Floyd incident and, you know, the reaction to all of that and all of these organizations putting up their black squares on Facebook and social media and all this. You know, I can't lie. I have a little side eye to it. I have a little side eye on it.
A lot of people do.
And I feel like the work that you guys are doing, you've already been doing the work with the Old Globe, and I'll just be curious to see a year from now where we are. Like, if they can maintain that, are they really ready to do the work? Like, again, going back to integrity. And what was that thing that started White American Theater? We See You, or
We See You, White American Theater.
Yeah.
I was reading it again this morning. you know, I look forward to reading that article one day. You know, reading the original letter, you know, that 300 people signed, that over 100,000 people signed in America. I look forward to looking at that letter one day and being like, what was all the hubbub about? You know, like what was, you know, like sometimes like I was watching Citizen Kane the other day, you know, and I was like, what's all the hubbub about this stuff. You know, like somebody's paying a character that, you know, like he's playing a character throughout 40 years of his life and getting old and young and
Right.
like what's all this deal about all this stuff? You know, like so he was moving around in time, you know, and then you realize that, well, this was the first time that they ever did that. You know?
Right.
Like this, so then you're like, oh wow, this picture is remarkable because it was the first one that had done this.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So I look forward to the day when we see white American theater, that the stuff that was put forth in the original letter, the stuff that was put forth in the demands, that people look at that one day and like, what was this? Why were people upset about this?
Yeah.
You know, like what was the big deal? Everybody's doing this now.
Everybody's doing this now. I mean, and me and dance, you know, why are we like, okay, for instance, I hate to call them out, but whatever. American Ballet Theater just promoted a black man, the first one in 20 years since our boy Desmond Richardson. I mean, come on, really? It's 2020, and we're just now having another black male principal. We just got Misty, 5 years ago?
Yeah,
It makes no sense to me at this point in time. Like we need to see.
But to see the racism that's perpetuated within the organizations. And you know what? I was part of a summit. You know, I was part of a summit a few weeks ago, and it was amazing. You know, like seeing how some of the white folks, you know, our white sisters and brothers were reacting to it. You know, 2 months ago, when we see white American theater demands came out, they all so many of them took it so personally.
They did. They were triggered.
They were triggered. You know, like, it's not about me. I don't do that. You know, like if you don't do it, that's good on you.
Good on you.
You know, but if you can't see that this is happening in our field, then shame on you.
Yeah.
It's not about you.
It's not about you.
It's not about you.
Yeah.
It's not about you. It's about like what has been said within these things that you could find disagreement with.
Thank you. I was talking to two of my sisters yesterday. One was Monique and another was my girl Tamia Santana. And you know, the fact that yes, we're all in this pandemic, but the added layer that we have had to go through with the racism, the things we're seeing visually now and for the last bunch of years because of social media, and trying to stay safe and keep our loved ones safe and keep our children safe and trying to still go to work if we have our jobs. All of this, it's just that extra added layer of shit that we have to navigate. I just, you know, take a step back. It's not about you. Take a step back and see what we're dealing with.
And I want to add, I just want to add on to that. Yeah. You know, like I think that in September, in July when it first came out, you know, it was like 10% of, you know, 5% of them got it. You know, 5% of them got it. 85% of them were confused by it.
Confused.
You know, and 10% of them were actively aggressive of it.
Yeah.
You know, like, but I would say that it was like 95% of them just weren't down with the thing.
No.
You know, they were centering themselves. Now it's changed. You know, there's still the 5% that are down with it.
Okay.
You know, but the 85% of them have changed. They're like, they have looked at this thing now as the gift that it is. Because they don't have Black people, BIPOC people, indigenous people, people of color in their organizations by and large, you know? So they're always wondering what's the problem? Why don't we have more people in our organizations? You know, like, and this document told you why you don't have them in your organizations and what you all do.
At least not a position of leadership.
Yeah, the leadership. You know, it's a gift. You know, it's a gift for you to be able, because you don't have the people, or the people that you have in there. Sometimes, you know, they tell you this thing and you get upset with them and you marginalize them. So, you know, they don't know how to even talk to you now.
Exactly.
Because they're not telling you what you want to hear. This is what people are. This is what we're saying. This is what Black indigenous people of color are staying among ourselves in our rooms when we're talking about the things that we're experiencing at predominantly white institutions.
Yeah, our safe spaces.
You know, so I didn't need to go. It didn't all need to affect me, but I know from my colleagues that this is true because they talk about it.
Okay.
And they've experienced it.
Right.
And while I haven't experienced all of it, because I wouldn't be in this field if I experienced all of it, it would be too traumatic. I've experienced enough of it to know that it is true.
Yeah. It's just empathy. You don't have to have gone through it to be able to have empathy for your fellow human being.
People don't, I mean, like, we love pointing the finger at other people, you know, and saying that, oh, that's that organization over there. No, it's all of us. It's all of us. It's all of us.
So I'm super encouraged by the things that I'm seeing that you all have been able to do. And thank you for all of that, because I definitely want to touch on that. And, you know, to be real, like, knowing you for so long as I have, I know that you've been approached, you've been stopped by the police, you've been harassed. You know, you are, again, you're 7 feet tall, Black man, Freedome Bradley.
I've been beaten by the police.
Very imposing to people and scary, little boogeyman, all that crap. And it's like, you know, now you have children, you have a son. Like, these are the things that people need to know about. And this is what we're dealing with on the daily, and that you're going to have to, as a father, and Patricia, of course, you know, teach your children about. And we're going to have to hold them up and hold you guys close to our hearts. But for their safety and their well-being and your well-being as parents dealing with all of this. But I also want to get back to the work, because I know you're still forging forward with Old Globe and trying to put programming out there. Just like with SummerStage, we went digital. And I know you guys have some programs coming up. Oh, even this week, you're doing, wait a minute, this will go light for a second.
The
Grinch.
The Grinch. The Grinch. I'm wearing my Grinchy t-shirt, my Grinchy shirt.
Yes.
It's the time that I break it out.
Because I don't want to keep you all night, but can you please tell us what we can look forward to for the Old Globe? Also, I have a link to the theater on my bio, so people can find out more about the work that you all are doing, and also donate if you have anything to spare towards your guys' programs. But what can we look forward to? Like, what are your guys' plans for 2021?
Well, one is really continuing the work that's outlined in our social justice document. If you all are interested in doing that work in your organizations, just look on our website and you can see what we're doing. You know, we've posted it just like We See You White American Theater has posted that thing as a resource. We have posted it not only as a resource, but as a way to be held accountable for what we talk about doing in there. You know, like, that was very important. You know, like, to have transparency, to have people, you know, be able to see what we said that we were going to do and then hold us accountable for that. You know, because people aren't trusting. You know, people don't trust the government. You know, they've lost faith in it. You know, when you have a person there that constantly lies. People don't trust, you know, their universities, their college admissions. People don't trust, you know, the social net that we have. People don't trust, you know, the arts organizations to do. So we found that we want to be able to put this up here. We have to reestablish trust.
Yes.
Because trust has been broken.
Ooh, say it again, Freedom.
Trust has been broken between organizations and communities. And they've heard this stuff before. They've heard that we're going to come in and do stuff, and then the grant money rolls up and you fold up. You know, and you don't, and it's not important to your organization. It wasn't that important. You know, so we wanted to make sure that we have something up there so that people can check in on us. You know, and that we can report out, you know, like, hey, how are we doing? Where we at? What have we done? How can we check these things off? And it's also a living document so that we can add more stuff to it. You know, like today we had a great conversation about, you know, bringing in this, you know, like creating our equity, diversity, and inclusion committee to not just look at what the document that making sure that we are on track with the document, but to envision what the next steps are.
Right.
you know, within this document, because the
Right.
document should always be changing. We should always be adding things to it,
Absolutely.
you know, until we don't have to. But it's the nature of life. You always have to be adding things into, you know, like what's making the world a more just society. We're always we're always bending toward justice. You know, the moral arc of the universe, Dr. King, bends towards the arc of justice. So we're trying to move that, you know, that arc forward.
Yeah.
So please look out for that. And it's in English, it's in Spanish. So if you know other folks that want to look at that, please, I think it's just one of the things that I'm most proud of in my life. That the work that we do in prisons, you know, that's all stuff that I could, you know, that I can lay my head asleep at night knowing that I did these things.
Yeah, important.
We also have programs that, you know, if you go to our YouTube channel, you know, look at the Old Globe. If you go to our Facebook page, Arts Engagement, the Old Globe Arts Engagement, we have programs there. We have a great program coming on tonight. I got to get out of here and go do that program.
Okay.
It's called Word Up. It's like a Mad Libs style talk show that we have. You know, that really, you know, like one without programs, you know, like we really want people to have the ability to create some kind of art in the programs that we're doing, you know, and that's why we call it engagement. Oh, that's the little award we got from, you know, the
not little
community. Yeah, I love that award. That award is great, man. I was so proud of that award.
You look so happy.
That award. Yeah, because
you know, like so happy.
That's the black folks giving us that award, man. You know, like that's the black folks giving us that award. And they and that newspaper, that's the black newspaper in town. And people were really skeptical of the Old Globe, you know, like when I got here. You know, like they were like, well, we'll see if you all do this work that you say you're gonna do.
Right.
And that to me is like, yeah.
Yes.
They're not gonna get that award if they think that we're, you know, bullshitting. You know, like they're not gonna do that. You know? So
that's awesome.
There it is.
On that, and I know you have to run, but I wanna quote something that I've seen.
We're also we have you know, we're doing some radio plays. We're doing Grinch radio plays.
That's what this picture was. That. Yes.
Yeah, try to find out about that.
Yeah.
On KPBS. Here in San Diego, we're doing that. You know what? We're going to be doing some other radio plays, you know, around in the near future. It's just a whole bunch of What is Theater Now, some programs that we're doing with you know, Patricia, my wife, is one of the artists that's attached to that.
Yeah.
You know? So there's a lot of stuff that the Globe is doing. And, you know, I want you all to be able to see that.
Absolutely. So before you run, though, because, you know, as we're all moving forward into the new year, and trying to hold fast and hold strong and keep the enthusiasm and the hope and the encouragement. I've seen you quote this several times now, James Baldwin. Fires can't be made with dead embers. Enthusiasm in our daily work lightens effort and turns even labor into pleasant tasks. So, Freedom, how do we keep the enthusiasm? How do we keep the drive? How do we stay in it? Is it just about the people? Is it about really the work? Is it about the dedication to the community? That's the drive.
Yeah. You know, that's, to me, it's always about, you know, like, it's about connecting with something larger than myself. You know, like my kids are larger than me. The kids in my community are larger than me. The people that are locked away, that are experiencing incarceration, are larger than me.
Yes.
You know, the old folks at the fourth District Senior Center, they're larger than me. The people at, you know, Father Joe's, you know, a Veterans Village, they're larger than me. The people that have, you know, that don't have access to the arts and depend on these digital programs to be connected, they're larger than us. You know, so they inspire me to keep doing this work, you know, like that's my inspiration. Like, how are we connecting with people? How are we making a difference in people's lives? You know, how are we making our art form matter to more people?
Yes.
You know, and that's what I think of. How are we making a more just and equitable society?
Yes. Freedom Bradley. I love you.
I love you, Danny G. God, you're a great interviewer.
Oh, y'all make it easy. I'm just, verklempt now, but thank you.
Thank you. I love you. All right. I'm going to go talk to some people.
I love you. Keep up the great work, and we'll talk soon. Love to your beautiful children, your beautiful wife.
Thank you, G.
Yeah.
Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
So as usual, I have all the clips at the end of these. I mean, how wonderful is Freedome Bradley? The link to the Old Globe Theater is in my bio. He's an amazing friend, and support the work that he does. It's so important in the community, and he's right. The work that we do for the children, our communities, is so important. Now I'm just like falling apart. I'm so sorry. But in any case, this is my last. Hey, Samantha, beautiful Samantha Figures from Alvin Ailey, just joining us. So if you've missed any part of this amazing conversation with Freedome, I will be uploading it to my YouTube channel soon after this, and also to my Instagram TV. And this is my last live for 2020. So thank you all who have tuned in over these 8 months from me starting this. And I want to leave you with, of course, if you have a little money to spare and you want to buy some presents for yourself or your peoples for the holidays, don't forget, you've got Don't Be Ashy, creams, and you've got my friends in this Mary Kay products. All the links are on my link tree in my Instagram bio. The link to my TV channel on YouTube. You can see all the past interviews all summer long that I've been doing. And that's it. Like, have a wonderful rest of this year. Oh, thank you for that. Support the arts community, support arts, music, theater, dance, all of it is so important, and stay safe. Next week is Christmas, so I'm not going to have a live show, but I'm going to have a very special interview, I can tell you now, with the legendary George Faison. It was pre-recorded from the summer. Hey, Senna! Pre-recorded from the summer in honor of the anniversary of The Wiz. And so I'll load it next Friday on Christmas Day in honor of the great George Faison. So once again, thank you all who have been rocking with me all summer long. More to come in the new year. We're going to have some new guests, some return guests. Hey, Kate. And again, if you missed any part of this, it'll be archived on my YouTube channel, dannIGeeLive. And that's it. So I love you guys. And hey, Zinda. Yes, George Faison. The great George Faison. So that's all I got. And I thank you guys for tuning in every Friday. And if you're new to this channel, this show, welcome. And I will see you live next year. So, mwah, love you. And thanks for tuning in. Bye.